Nikolai Kralin and Yochanan. Effect note, Russian names may be written with other spellings. Georgian composer of over 300 studies and author of many books on endgame composition, among which 4,332 studies with stalemate, 4,492 studies with mate, 4,324 studies with positional draw. By profession a radio technical engineer, he worked for many years in the Georgian national TV station. Russian Grandmaster, winner of a Soviet championship in 1954, and composer of over 200 studies, many of which give important contributions to endgame theory. With Chekhov and others he published in 1956 a 4 volumes encyclopedia on endgames, Lehrbuch der Endspiel. Ukrainian grandmaster and composer of about 40 endgame studies, many of which were composed with Leopold Mitrofanov. A Hungarian-American grandmaster over the board, he composed many endgame studies, winning 24 first prizes. Austrian chess master, composer of about 250 studies and author of many chess publications. In 1925 he published Contributo alla teoria dei finali di solipedoni, in which he proposed the theory of reciprocal squares in pawn endings. He was the first to use the theme of under-promotion in endgame studies with some depth. Argentinian international judge for chess composition, author of about 80 endgame studies. Together with Yuri Averbach he published in 1956 a 4-volume encyclopedia on endgames. Italian player and composer born in Genoa, he gave notable contributions to endgame theory, E.G. Romanian composer and author of many books, among which chess study composition. A very strong Czech master, in 1914 he retired from over-the-board play and turned fully to endgame composition, winning 10 first prizes. Born in Hungary, he moved to Romania at age 24 and lived there for the rest of his life. An engineer by profession, from 1936 he was editor of the Romanian Chess Review. Czech composer of over 500 studies and problems, in 26 of which he won first prize. He is considered among the major representatives of the grotesque genre, in which the initial position cannot be reached in practical play. Russian endgame composer, called the poet for the beauty of many of his works, most of which were miniatures, with a maximum of 7 pieces. Author in 1955 of Soviet chess problems, by profession he was a theatrical and literary reviewer. 400 studies and author with Joseph Kling of the first anthology of endgames, Chess Studies London 1851. Foremost Armenian player, 10 times winner of the Armenian Championship, and composer. He was the first studist to be awarded the title of Grand Master of Composition from FIDE, 1972. Author of about 600 works, many of which on the theme of domination, he won 57 first prizes. German master and composer of some 400 studies, most of which together with Bernhard Horwitz. Russian composer of about 80 studies, one of the major experts in rook and pawns endgames. Hungarian composer of about 150 studies, FIDE judge for composition, 1984, winner of 34 first prize awards. Russian composer of over 300 studies, he was a chief representative of the paradoxical and romantic genre. Czech composer of about 60 studies, international judge for composition, 1991. Georgian/Hebrew composer of about 70 studies, winner of 6 first prizes in international tourneys. Foremost Russian composer of over 500 studies, many of which were awarded first prize for their great beauty and original conception. Also his brothers Arded and Evgeny were chess players, Arded being a strong master, he played in the first 4 USSR championships, and Evgeny a chess composer. Both Leonid and Evgeny Kubel died of starvation during the Nazi siege of Leningrad. Russian composer of studies of supreme elegance, many of which won first prize. Georgian composer of a few hundred studies, many of which together with Yuri Akobia. A very strong English grandmaster and composer of over 300 studies, he is a major expert in compiling endgame table bases for chess playing engines. Finnish study composer, international master of composition from 1969 and world champion in 1995 of problem solution. Latvian Grand Master of Composition, he published 1,790 studies, making him the most prolific of all composers. Czech Grand Master and composer of some 100 studies, one of which, and ending with only pawns, is very famous, see diagram in this article. A chemist by profession, he devised the rank code for diagrams classification. The Italian Chess Federation, FSI, awarded him a gold medal in 2007 for his merits in the field of chess composition. Author of many publications and editor of the study and problems section of New in Chess. Founder, 1965, and editor-in-chief of the quarterly magazine e.g., entirely dedicated to endgame studies. Brilliant Polish Grandmaster for chess composition, winner of 32 first prizes. Famous for a study demonstrating that an under-promotion to rook wins an endgame previously considered as drawn, Glasgow 1895. By profession an electronics engineer, he was the first vice president of the FIDE Problems Commission. Russian composer of over 100 studies, most of which with minor pieces and pawns, often with brilliant ideas. Composer of many studies and author with Laban Fish of a work on rook and pawns endgames. British composer and author in 1910 of the first English-language collection of selected studies, 8,000 endgames. Foremost Russian composer considered the father of the contemporary school of study composition. Author of over 1,000 studies with important contributions to endgame theory, especially of Knights vs. Dutch composer of about 100 studies and author of a database containing 67,691 studies, 2005. He was the first American citizen to be awarded the title of FIDE Grandmaster of Composition, 1988. Third in the U.S. Championship 1975 above Rashevsky, Byrne and Evans. For many years he was considered the strongest in the world for problem solution. By profession an electrical engineer, he was for many years in the scientific staff of the General Electric Company. Ukrainian composer of about 280 studies, most of which of the king and pawns type.